Archaeology, episode 38, featuring Tengai. Join us as we uncover artifacts from the arcades. My name is Brad. My co-hosts are Sky.
What's up?
Kyle.
Saw dudes.
And Jordan.
Hello.
All right, boys. As we always start off, let's talk about some other games we've been playing before we get into the featured game tonight. So let's, Kyle, you got anything to bring for us tonight?
No, nothing new. I'm still on Path of Exile 2, playing it slightly less than I have been, just because they're getting close to like a new league start, which is basically going to be like a brand new sort of like wipe. Everyone kind of starts fresh again, so...
That means you can catch up to Elon real easy then.
Yeah, well, I mean, technically we'll be tied once the season starts, so...
Ooh.
So you lose everything, fresh wipe?
Well, it takes your characters and puts them into like a standard realm. So like they're still there, you can still get on them and play them, but like, I don't know, I feel like 90% of the people don't care about that. You just want to start fresh with like a new character in the new league that has like new mechanics and new items. And then basically every time a new league starts, the characters from the previous league just get put into like the Eternal Realm. And then you start like another new league with, you know, a bunch of new stuff. It's just kind of the way those games work. It's just every couple months, everyone pretty much restarts with like new stuff. Just kind of keeps the game fresh. But, so yeah, we're kind of waiting for the new league reset. So I get on and play a little bit, but it feels weird to try to like put a bunch of hours into it, knowing that in a couple of weeks I'll be restarting.
How long do those typically last before a reset, or is there not really a standard for it yet?
I think it's like, I want to say 3 months maybe.
So for the life of the game, every 3 months you pretty much wipe and start over?
Yes.
Huh, that's a interesting concept. I don't know if I can get behind that. I don't got the time for that kind of restart.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, I don't know, like if you say restart, it sounds weird because it sounds like, you know, you've done X thing and then now you're just restarting and you're doing X thing again, like just over, which is like kind of what you're doing. But the whole point of it is that when the new league comes, basically think of it as like a DLC. So like a bunch of new things will be added to the game. And so like you're restarting, but you have like a bunch of different things that you're doing. So it'll be like new items, new characters, you know what I mean, new weapons, new mechanics to the game, like different bosses, like, yeah, so it's kind of like, it's not like you're doing the 100% the exact same thing over and over again. They're going to put a bunch of things in it that kind of change the way the game plays, and then you start a new character and start from there.
That sounds a little better when you put it that way then. That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not as harsh as it sounds. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'll be on playing for a little bit here and there, but we're mostly just kind of waiting for the league reset to dive back into it.
All right, Sky, what about you?
All right, I have something new this week.
Look at that.
Now when
Let's
I say new, I'm kind of using that term loosely because the game is not
A new mobile game.
No, it's not mobile.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's new, I guess, for me.
Yeah.
It's not a new game at all. It's actually like 20 years old. but
Okay.
but I just randomly got the urge. I don't know why I thought about playing it, but I just wanted to go back to some old school Warcraft 3.
Warcraft 3. I've never even played it. You've played it before?
Yeah, I used to play it a long time ago, back in the day. I jumped between that and like Diablo and stuff like that. But it's the same company. Blizzard makes them both.
Right.
When I would get sick of Diablo 2, I'd jump on and play a little bit of Warcraft. But mainly just custom games. I don't really do the whole RTS thing anymore. I used to at one point when I first got into it. I just like the whole RTS play style. But now it's just like too much micromanaging for me. I don't really like it. I just go on now and check out the custom games, really. They have like old RPG maps that I used to play. I was like 15 and stuff like that, so...
There's still people on there then, hosting games, or is it just like stuff you can pick from and play by yourself?
Oh yeah, you can do both. I played a couple by myself when it was kind of dead, no one was joining. But there's plenty of other maps like people were hosting, but they have like a world editor that comes with the game, so you can just make your own stuff if you want to. The latest thing they did was they made it a Warcraft 3 Reforged, is what they called it. And that was pretty much like supposed to bring it back and get more people into the game. But apparently they dropped the ball on that and everybody hated it for the longest time. So it just kind of stayed dead. And then I guess recently I think they updated stuff or something. I think they made it better, but I don't really use it. I think I'm still using the old client on it because I don't use any of the new graphics and all that. They did like a graphics overhaul and all this other stuff. But I just jumped on and found the old maps that I used to play and just jumped back on those a little bit and checked them out.
Pretty sweet. So they're just like any random custom games, or all like completely different?
Oh yeah, there's like people made like tower defense games in there.
Okay. Yeah.
There's like a million different RPGs people made. You know League of Legends, right?
Yeah, I've never actually played it, but yeah, I know it.
But like that style of game, the MOBA style. that like pretty much originated as a Warcraft 3 custom map, but it was called Defense of the Ancients. But that's pretty much where all the MOBAs today like got their ideas from. Like that, the first game, Defense of the Ancients, you just have like your towers, 3 lanes, bunch of heroes to pick from, and you buy items and stuff, and you try to destroy the other team's base pretty much. But that started as a Warcraft 3 custom map, and then that got huge, became its own thing, and then like League of Legends came out, and all the other MOBAs started copying it. So I thought it was pretty interesting that it came from a custom game some dude made.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never knew that.
It might have been the biggest custom map in the game. That they made that like a long time ago though. That's a really, really old map. But then I guess Blizzard didn't have the rights to it. They were trying to get the rights to it, and there's like whatever court cases over it. Pretty much they lost, so they missed out on their chance to have like a big MOBA. And then Defense of the Ancients like took off. They made a second one. Steam picked it up. So yeah, they definitely dropped the ball on that. That's why a lot of people didn't like the Reforged that they did, because they added new terms in their agreement that says anything you make, we own like 100% completely that you make in our engine. So now
you have to now.
Yeah. But I guess it wasn't that specific back in the day, so they missed their chance to, you know what I mean, claim the Dota game. But now that that's in there, a lot of people were pretty mad about that. So like people don't even make custom games anymore in it. They kind of drove all the people away when they did that.
Lost all incentive. It's like, if I make something awesome, it's not mine. It doesn't belong to me.
Yeah, you have no rights to it at all. It's anything you make, if it blows up and it gets huge, they can just take it and make money off it, and whatever, you're screwed.
Dang.
Yeah, that's what I guess I'm like 50-50 on that. It's like I get it. I mean, from their standpoint, like first of all, they lost out huge by not doing that in the first place. And then also, like, if you're making something on there, like, you're using all of their assets. So it's like they did a lot of work for you to kind of come in and just like with an idea basically and just kind of like throw some stuff together.
Yeah. I'm
So,
kind of
it's pretty
50-50 on that too. Like, you're using all their stuff, but it's your ideas. But you probably wouldn't have been able to bring those ideas to life if you weren't using their engine. Like, if that's the engine you wanted to use to make it. So that's why there was like a whole big thing that happened over that.
But in another sense, that's pretty much any game engine. You know what I mean? You're using a different game engine to, I mean, I don't know anything about game development, but there's like different engines and stuff. And if you design something in like Unreal or something, it doesn't belong to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what's weird about it. That's why everybody kind of was like, when they did that. Like, you guys are getting way too greedy now. Jeez. Taking the fun out of it. Like, because some people,
right.
I would assume they'd probably charge or something, or they'd probably ask you for donations or whatever on maps and stuff like that. Under those new terms, you can't do that because you don't own anything. So, but I don't make maps, so it didn't really affect me at all. I just like to play all the cool stuff other people make.
Sounds fun.
But yeah, that was my new game, a 20-plus-year-old game that I used to play back in the day. So
brand new game.
I'll be playing that for a while, so I downloaded quite a few maps. Some new, some that I used to play a long time ago.
Nice. Well, I hopped back into something I used to play a long time ago. I guess most of us here's a little bit of Halo action going on again. So booted up Master Chief Collection. I was trying to get you guys back on. Hopefully I can get you guys to join in with us. But a couple of my friends were talking about it, getting back in and playing some matchmaking and stuff. So it's been a lot of fun, just like the good old days playing some Halo 3.
Man, just like the basement days.
The basement days sounds like such a weird term, like with no context.
I mean, the best multiplayer video games are played in a basement for sure.
Basement was our life, man. Multiple TVs hooked up, everybody just rotating out playing games all night.
It was like a 24-hour LAN. We just, some people would go to bed and someone else would pick up my controller, start playing on that station. We had like 4 different setups all in a row.
I think for a legal disclaimer, we should tell everyone that, guys, we weren't locked in the basement. We could come and go freely.
It was my choice.
But yeah, man, it's been fun. There's not really like any ranked. There's still ranked playlists, but I don't know. I tried getting in some and they were kind of dead. Maybe you have to catch them at the right time. But I was just hopping in Social Slayer. My first game back, I was like, I don't know. I had like 20 and like 6 or something. You can tell some of these people haven't played anyone good in a while. They're just coming out at you like challengers. Like, dude, you're knocking out the army. You're done. Just crushing them. Gandhi hopping through the middle of the map, throwing nades at their spawn. Everything just came right back to me. It was awesome. I was having so much fun with it.
He just comes back after years away, just unstoppable.
Yeah, it's great. I'm sure there's still some really good people on there if you get matched up with them, but yeah, I don't know. It's like I never stopped playing. It was great.
We'll have to find a good day and time and get a couple of us back on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, right now we got probably have like 6 or 7 people since we just started playing that all downloaded it again.
Nice.
So we can keep adding on. We can get some custom lobbies going and stuff. It'd be fun. That was mostly it. A couple other things I hopped into, but nothing really to talk about at the moment. Just some Halo. That leaves you, Jordan. What do you got for us tonight?
Well, I mean, my primary focus right now is still my Game for the Cable Club podcast, because my recording will be coming up pretty soon for them there, a little over 2 weeks here. So just trying to wrap that game up pretty close to the end. I'm kind of doing a lot of the extra bonus stuff you get to do at the end. So wrapping that up. The only other new game I hopped on into, and I guess new game, I'll be like Sky here. It's an ancient game. It's like 20 years old as well. I mean, you guys know pretty much that's what I do, is I replay a lot of old games. So I'm not judging Sky at all for saying he picked up a new game here. So I picked up a game that I haven't played in a long time. It's an old PS2 game, and it's one I never beat. I was always really interested in it, just for some reason, one of those ones where you play it for a while and kind of fall out of it. And I was talking to Kyle last week about this game, because he was with me, he asked me what I was playing. And I realized it's a pretty difficult game to kind of explain. Have you guys ever heard of the Dot Hack series?
That sounds familiar, but I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I have no clue.
I just know the name of it. I've heard it be said before, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
So there was an anime about it as well. I think the anime was first, but don't quote me on that. I'm not positive. But it was on like Toonami and whatnot back in the day, like the weekend, like late night Toonami, not like the after school Toonami. So basically, the Dot Hack games, it's a single player action RPG, but it's about a fictional MMORPG. So like, it's single player. You're controlling a kid who's playing an MMORPG. So like, it's supposed to feel like you're playing an MMO without actually playing one. Kind of the idea behind it, so your character sign in for it for the first time. He's playing with his friend who's like one of the best players in the world at this game. They get attacked by something that's clearly like not supposed to be in the game. And then his friend falls into a coma. So the whole thing is like, you're trying to kind of find out why that's happening to people. But it's neat. Like, you can actually log out of the game and like check your emails and read the message boards for the game and stuff. You can trade and talk to the other players, which is kind of funny because all the other players on the game are like these big, like hulking, like axe wielders and swordsmen, but they all talk like normal little kids because they're all supposed to be kids just playing an MMO with you. It's actually pretty neat. It's a fun one. It's not like the greatest RPG in the world, but the idea behind it is pretty neat. It's pretty fun. And like I said, I've played it so many times and I never beat it. So I'm kind of determined to see if I can finally get the whole way through it this time.
That kind of sounds like, did you ever see Sword Art Online? It's like another anime.
I've heard of it, but that's it.
I watched it a little bit, a long time ago. I can't remember a whole lot about it. But it's kind of the same concept, like kids logging into an MMO. But I think they got trapped there or something. They couldn't log out. Some dude in the game like locked them in the game. So like, I think real life people were like dying because they couldn't log off their computer or something like that.
Wow.
It's like a VR concept too, isn't it?
I think so. Maybe that is. Yeah, I haven't watched it for a while. I just remember it was kind of crazy. I was like, wow, they're just playing a video game. Like, you actually just see them get on, see their characters in the game, and then whoever the big boss is in there, it's probably some cheater or some hacker. He like just pretty much kidnaps everybody in the game or something.
Yeah, it does sound kind of similar then. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, in a way, I almost see this as like a super, super antisocial person's way of playing an MMO. Like, if you really don't want to play a game with other people, then hop into this, check it out. It is a pretty fun one. It's pretty cool. See if I can actually get the whole way through it this time. I think there's a bunch. I think there's 4 Dot Hack games maybe, just for PS2 alone. I've never even beaten the first one, so gonna see if I can finally get my act together here and hunker down with it and finish it off.
All right. We ready to move on then, guys?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Alrighty. Let's talk about Tengai. Released in the arcades in 1996, Tengai was also known as Sengoku Blade. It was developed by Saikyo. It's a horizontal auto-scrolling shoot 'em up in the setting of feudal Japan. Has samurai themes going on there. which I think is pretty unique for a shmup, since I feel like most, if not all, that I've seen, you're generally in like a spaceship or aircraft. So I thought that was actually a pretty cool setting for it. Characters just out there straight raw dogging it in the air, no ship, nothing.
Like sci-fi feudal Japan, like a lot of it's like still like robots and lasers and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's magic, robots, that kind of stuff going on, which I liked. I thought the graphics were pretty cool. It's a little hard to kind of see what's going on when you're playing because the game's super hectic, a little bit bullet hellish going on. There's stuff all over the place. It's kind of hard to take it all in, but when you can, I think it's pretty neat.
It is one of the newer games we've done. I think it was, 96 or so? We've done a lot of games from like the late 80s, early 90s, so it does look pretty cool.
Well, you get to choose from technically 6 different characters in this game, and once you pick a character, you're locked in with them for the entire playthrough. You can't like switch it out. Well, some games will let you. Did you guys do this multiple times? You just do it once, and if you guys tested the different characters, because they do all play a little different.
I chose the samurai, the one in like the full suit of armor.
Yeah, he's sick. Well, it might be she. I think I saw someone say her online at one point, but either way, she's cool as hell.
I didn't know it was a girl until you get to the very end, and then she takes her helmet off.
Oh, I didn't even notice that part.
But I didn't know that in the beginning. Not that it mattered, but I did pick the samurai. I did kind of wish that this was like other games, though, where you could die and then pick a different character, just so I didn't have to like start a brand new run to see what all the other people do. It would have been nice to, just do a quick swap and see kind of how they all play and if I liked someone better than others. But I don't know how different the characters were, but
they're fairly different. I think so. Yeah, they're all pretty. They have different like type of shooting. They have a different charge attack, like a different special, like your bomb. And then I think the main reason they probably didn't let you switch is because each character has like individual dialogue and a storyline going on. So you probably just pretty much when you pick your character, you're just playing through their story. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I played a few times here. My first, I want to say 1 or 2, I used the same one. Her name's Katana, I believe, in the game, and she looks cool as hell. So she's a robot samurai, basically, with this cool-ass mask. I think it said, like, her actual human body is, like, was, like, taken away from her. So, like, she's actually just, like, the suit of armor, but she looks super, super cool. I did use her first. I think the best part about her is probably her bomb attack because it covers the entire screen, even if it is a bit weaker. So, Brad, you said, there's like 5 characters. Well, kind of 6. So there is a way to unlock like a hidden character. I believe the way you do that is you just hover over the random selection, and you press up 3 times, down 3 times, then up 7 times. And it gives you access to a character who I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. I believe it's like Ayan or Ian. And I used him for all my other playthroughs. He was a lot of fun. His bomb and his charge attack didn't cover much ground or much of the screen, but they were super, super buff. So if you were able to kind of aim your attacks well, he was blasting everything off the screen. So I used him a lot near the end.
He seemed just like, to me, a better version of Katana. They were kind of similar in the way they played, but I thought he was just stronger.
Yeah, Katana just has like that screen covering weak bomb, but his just kind of attacks. His bomb kind of reminds me of like Marth's Final Smash from Smash Brothers, where it's just a straight line ahead, but if it hits, they're getting blown back.
Yeah, the thing with Katana that I didn't like, her bomb attack, it shoots lightning bolts like across the whole screen, but you can't move your character. Most of the characters, when you use the bomb, you still have control of your character as you're moving around. So that kind of made it tough to. Because I would use a bomb just to kind of get out of trouble and like grab some power-ups or something so I wouldn't get hit. But or her, I guess, you're just stuck in the one spot. So that's was kind of one of the bigger drawbacks, I thought.
Yeah. I played the Metal Samurai also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was going to choose the monk guy. His name is Tengai, I guess, right?
Yeah. He's good.
Yeah,
I like
the
him a
monk
lot.
is Tengai.
I was going to play him, and I was like, I think I saw a video of it beforehand just to get an idea of what we were playing. And a lot of videos I saw had them playing him. I was like, all right, I kind of already saw this guy. And I went over and saw the samurai in full armor. I was like, yeah, I'm going to pick that.
Yeah, she looks sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, looks really cool, but I thought, I played all the characters because I want to test them all out. I thought she was the hardest to play through with because of some of the stuff I already said, and also her charge attack, it's pretty strong. Like, it charges up and it shoots like these little spears you get behind you. It shoots them like straight whatever way you're looking. But some of the other charge attacks I just thought were way better. They just like cover more coverage on the screen, or a couple of them when you use the charge attack, it'll just like pin like your whatever you're charging up, it'll pin it in that spot and it'll just constantly attack like for like 10 seconds straight while you can still fly around and do stuff. So I felt like Katana's kind of sucked in comparison. And then she's just outclassed, I thought, by Ian, whatever we were saying his name was, because his charge is similar. It's just a melee attack, but it charges so fast, and I swear that thing like one or two hits like any strong enemy. That thing just rips through everyone.
Yeah, the only downside is it only hits like right in front of them, so you got to get up close, which in this game is dangerous because, as you said, it's kind of a bullet hell. You're getting attacked from every direction.
So basically, I played the worst character in the game, and I also had no idea that people had a charged attack.
Classic
I saw
Kyle.
that one coming, man.
Of course. I mean, I don't know if she's technically the worst, just my least favorite, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's the worst. I'm assuming it's fairly balanced, just different playstyle, you know?
Yeah, if we're voting, I put Katana on the bottom, though. Just saying.
Yeah, but no one's the worst. But if we have to pick a worst,
I'm saying it's based on your playstyle, man.
Yeah, it looks like Tengai's charge is like a shield around you, so you can just run into bullets.
Tengai's charge?
Yeah, it puts like a shield around him.
On mine, it just like launched like a red phoenix across the screen. I don't know. I mean, as you collect power-ups throughout the game, it charges up pretty much like your secondary. All the characters, you have like your regular attack, then you collect a power-up, and it gives you like usually something flying behind it that also attacks with you. And then as you like, power that up, it kind of changes your charge attack, so maybe that's part of it. I'm not too sure though. But yeah, on mine, when I charged him up, it just shot like a red phoenix across the screen. It was okay, but his just regular attack had a lot of range to it. Like, it was very wide, so it would hit a lot of enemies at once. That's kind of why I liked him.
Were you like fully powered up with him?
I thought it was at one point. I don't know for sure. I don't know if you guys figured this out, but the power-ups, I think you can get 4 is when you're maxed out. Does that sound right?
Yes, that's correct.
Or oh wait, no, my bad. That wasn't his charge. That's his bomb. When he uses bomb, it like shields him.
Okay. That makes more sense then. Well, we did talk about the controls a little bit here, but yeah, you rapidly mash your shoot button. You can't really, if you hold it in, which Kyle didn't know, it charges up, so you can do kind of like your special attack there. It's a little bit stronger, but obviously you're not shooting while you're doing it. And you can only do that if you get a power up. As soon as you start and you're just like shooting, if you try holding it, it's not going to work. So you got to at least get that power up to get like your little additional firepower behind you. So maybe that's why. Maybe you tried it, Kyle, before you got a power up, or you just didn't even try it.
no, I definitely did try it. I think it was like I was started the game and I spammed the thing and I was like, oh, this is gonna suck. I was like, can I just hold this in? And I tried to hold it in and nothing happened.
Yeah.
I was
Same.
like, okay, I gotta just spam the whole time.
Same.
Yeah, and this is a one-hit kill in this game. There's no health. As soon as you get shot, you're dead, and there's bullets flying all over the place, so you're probably gonna
Everywhere.
die a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those games where you really have to... So the enemies are typically near the right side of the screen. You're on the left. You're absolutely best off staying as far left as possible and focusing on evading the attacks before anything else. Like, defense definitely comes first.
The one thing I thought was pretty cool, unique to me from shoot 'em ups, obviously if you get hit by a bullet, you just instantly die. But if you run into an enemy, it doesn't kill you. It just depowers like your power-ups. So if you get up to 4 power-ups, like you're maxed out, like we were saying, if an enemy runs into you, you don't die. You would just go down to 3 power-ups. And that takes you the whole way down to none if you keep getting hit. And I don't think it ever kills you unless you get hit by a bullet. So as hectic as it is, at least there's that little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of safety there where you don't have to worry about collision.
Yeah, I like that.
I wasn't sure why that was happening. I thought it was just random, like, you get hit, sometimes you die, sometimes you lose a power-up. I didn't realize it was because they were actually running into me.
Yep, just tell them when they run into you. At least it doesn't kill you, just depowers you a little bit. Which I didn't know sometimes either. Like, as soon as you would spawn, you get a couple seconds of invincibility, like most games. I would run and try to collect the power-ups, and then, like, an enemy would run into me as I'm coming out of it, and I would just lose the power-up I got. I was like, oh, great, now my guy sucks again. And as we were saying, you only power your weapon up, it kind of just upgrades it, makes it better. You're not, like, picking up different weapons and stuff. It's just pretty much when you pick your character, you're picking your weapon, because every character has their own unique way of attacking, and that's just pretty much what you get for the game. So you guys didn't really play with too many of the different characters? You didn't, like, check through their storylines and their dialogue or anything like that?
Oh, don't worry. I looked up all of the characters' like ending stories at least because some of them are hilarious.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this isn't even the ending I'm talking about. I'm just talking about like some of like in between stages, like as you like the characters talk as you like beat a stage and stuff. The first character I used, I was booting up the game and my daughter Ezra was beside me and she like pick that character. It was like the one girl on the end. It was which one was it? It's the one that has the little
Junis?
lemur with her. Junis, is that it?
Yeah.
Junis, yeah, that's the one. She has like the little lemur that flies around with her. Oh man, the dialogue. I was playing through it, and hold on, I have the. I'm gonna read what it actually said because it was funny. The first time I seen it.
Yeah, I saved some.
You saved some of them too.
I saved some of the ending ones that I definitely wanted to go over.
Okay, well this is just like in one of the in between stages. It just randomly comes up. She says, "You smell like cigarettes." To the little lemur that's like her little pet that's like flying around. That's like her alternate fire. I was like, what? That's so random. Like, what does that have to do with anything? And then
I think the lemur's name is Socrates too. I think I saw at one point.
Oh my god.
yeah, yep, that's his name, Socrates. And then one of the later stages, she says something else to him, but he says, cigarettes taste good. It's super good. I was like, what?
It's super good.
It's super good. He's just sitting there. Then you see him like in the background, like hitting a cigarette. He's like puffing it back and forth on his mouth. I was like, what is going on here? This is so weird.
Big tobacco companies had a hand in this game. Getting kids hooked.
It's super good though. That'd be cracking up. Anyway, I don't know. Did you want to talk about some of the endings or anything right now, Jordan? Or you wanna...
yes, absolutely.
Let's hear some of your favorite ones.
There's really two in specific that I wanted to point out. Like Katana's was kind of sad. Then there was the Ayan or whatever, and what was the other one? Tengai are the two endings I really wanted to point out here. So I did take some pictures. I can kind of just read through them here. For Tengai, when he beats the final boss. Pops up. First of all, this is like I think it's like a flying castle that you just finished off. And in the background, the whole time, this flying castle is kind of sinking down towards the ground. But Tengai says, "Doing a good deed sure makes me feel good." The castle hits the ground. It says, "The explosion destroyed the entire region. Tengai has gone on a rampage again." So apparently he saves the whole region and goes on a rampage. Yes. And then the other one for Ayan. So this whole time you're playing as him, he's looking for his sister Asuka. He thinks that, like, I guess someone in that castle kidnapped her. Couldn't find her anywhere. So basically, he says at the end after he wins, Asuka's not here either. Could she be at home again? So he flies back to his house. His sister's at his house the entire time that he's left there looking for her. And she says, "Brother, where have you been all night? You'll be burnt at the stake." And then it shows him burning, and it says, "Ouch, Asuka, it's hot, forgive me, please." Looking for his sister all over, then punished by burning. Ayan's had quite a day.
Oh my god.
There are multiple, there's like at one point you have to pick a different path, and it gives you two different endings. Did you know that?
I didn't see all the alternate ones, but I just saw those two funny ones.
That is funny because whenever I did beat it with him, that's not what mine was. He was looking for her. He was like flying. It shows him like flying around like the scenery, and then it shows him like flying with Earth in the background. Then he's like flying further into a galaxy. He just keeps yelling her name, and it says Ayan's journey never ends. He's just like crying. He just never finds her. He just flies around forever.
His ending just sucks.
Yeah, no matter what, it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like the two different endings for each character, and I just recently saw if you play it like two players, there's a unique ending for every single combination of characters, which is actually kind of crazy. They have like different. I mean, it's not obviously that deep, but like maybe like 6 to 10 screens for each ending, but still a lot of different ways you can complete the game.
Oh, I just saw here the screen I missed for Tengai. First he says something along the lines of, "I did it. Now the country is safe. Then doing a good deed sure makes me feel good." And then apparently he went on a rampage after the explosion destroyed the whole city.
So I wonder if anybody had a good ending.
I think there were some. I was looking at some of them. There was I don't remember off the top of my head, but most of them just seem kind of goofy and just kind of like random stuff happens. So I'm sure there's something that's got to be decent there, right?
I mean, isn't Katana's technically a good ending? Because like
not
she
the
was
one
just a suit
I
of
saw,
armor.
but I think
Which one did you get?
You must have seen the good one. The other one, the
Yeah.
one that I saw for Katana, he was asking the bad guy, or she was asking the bad guy where her body was, and he said it was already gone, and that she never got it back, and no one's seen her ever since.
Oh, maybe I did get the other one then.
Yeah, so you must have took the other path.
What path did you take? Do you remember?
I always took busting through the front door because I'm
Okay,
not
then
sissy.
yeah, I took the other path then. Yeah, I think the one that I
Okay,
took,
yeah.
she gets she actually like, gets her soul back.
Okay, so yeah, I guess just depends which path you take then.
Yeah, what we're referring to. Most of the game is pretty, well, very linear. You just do, just go through the screen scrolls, and then at what point near the end of the game you get two different options, and they just kind of, they word them a little bit different, but it's like break through the front gate, or there's one where you can enter through secret passage or something, and it does change, I think, the final boss that you fight there as well. Other than that, I didn't really notice if the stage itself was any different. Did you guys notice any difference between like the two different routes? Well, I guess Jordan only took the one, and I don't know,
Yeah, I
Scott
only
and Kyle.
ever took the front gate.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know. I only played the game once and took the hidden passage.
that was it.
Yeah.
Guy, you know which route you took?
Yeah, I went through the front gate also.
The stages themselves, like I said, they look pretty cool, but it's kind of hard to really take anything in. Is there anything unique about any of the stages that stuck out to you guys? Or even, I guess, the enemies, anything like that? Just kind of very hectic. You're just dodging, trying to survive most of the time. You can't really look at anything.
Yeah, I don't think I had time to take in much of the background, but I mean, the only thing I did kind of realize was like, it felt like getting through the stages where like all the ton of enemies are coming at you and everything's kind of chaotic. Like that kind of felt harder. Like I think I died more times to just like getting through the stage than when I was fighting the bosses. The bosses felt like it was a little more slowed down and like their patterns were a little more predictable. So they actually didn't feel that hard.
Yeah, I agree. I think the boss is, I guess, a little easier and more fun. It seemed like you had a better chance and there's a clear pattern. You're not just kind of frantically going everywhere. You can kind of follow their pattern and see what they're doing and learn it. More the highlight of the game.
I know that dude that throws his hat at you got me a couple times.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Those mini bosses were rough, and then of course you get our favorite thing, which I guess this one was a little different. We got a boss rush on stage 4, but this time it was like a mini boss rush. You have to fight them all over again.
You take one out, and the next guy jumps in, little cutscene, says his line, and then you fight him. That was pretty cool.
Some of them made some crazy noises too.
Yeah. I think the first guy that jumps in, he was something wild.
Yeah, he makes some kind of sound, that's for sure. And they have a different line depending on what character that you're using too. Because I know when I used Ayan, the first guy told he said something along the lines of like, "Old man, put your shirt on, you're gonna freeze to death" or something.
What kind of an insult is that? He's like being nice and like caring about his body. He just doesn't want him to be too cold. Oh my god.
Yeah, it mostly seemed like they were put a lot of their time into, I guess, all the unique different dialogues for every character, rather than I don't know. The gameplay's okay, but it's just a classic shoot 'em up, just flying around, trying not to die. The one thing, like how I'm saying you're flying without a ship, I don't know if you guys noticed, I just did it on accident. It's kind of cool though. Like on the bottom of the screen, certain stages you'll be like maybe in like a town or something, but there's actually like a ground. If you move your character down there, they change the animation. It shows them like running across the floor.
Oh, I never did that.
Oh yeah, me neither. That's cool.
Yeah, I just happened to go down there one time and saw. I was like, whoa, that's a cool. And then I tried to randomly do it again when there wasn't ground. It's like maybe they just do it all the time, but it only does if there's actually ground down there. There's a small little detail they didn't have to put in there. It's actually pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
And this, of course, as a lot of arcade games do, have a second loop, which just ups the difficulty. Is just more enemies are attacking more often. It's faster, and it seems like I did run through it just to check it out. And they skip like all the story, so it kind of goes a little quicker. You're just kind of rush straight through to the end. And how you have the two different paths you can pick near the end, it just forces you to take the opposite one. So it kind of just makes you do 100% completion, essentially. But I didn't really think it was worth playing. It was not fun.
Yeah, I mean, I went through it also. I was like, nothing really different. I already thought the game was hard in the first place. It just gets harder.
Right.
But I played through it anyway just to see it.
Yeah, I bailed out as soon as I killed the last guy. I've never been one for like a loop gameplay. It just doesn't do it for me.
I wasn't even sure when the final boss was. Like, I wasn't sure when I hit the next loop or not.
Yeah,
it seems like some of the levels kind of run into each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Once it gives you that story.
Eventually, you get that little transition off the level and cutscene, but I felt like I should have had that a couple times before. I was like, did I already beat the level or not? Like, is this the same level?
And then it just instantly, once you beat it, it jumps you right back to the first level. And like we said, a lot of the levels kind of go quick and you can't really pay attention to it. It's like, I don't know if I actually played this. Is there more to it? And the first time I played it, I must have got one of like the bad endings. So I was like, well, that can't be the end of the game because, it was like a terrible ending. Like everything just blew up. So there's got to be more to it. So I started playing. I was like, dude, I swear I just fought this dude at the beginning. And then I realized, God, it's a second loop. But I was just so confused with the way the story was, and after the ending story plays, it just instantly shoots you to the beginning again. It doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't let you put your score in. I was like, I don't really know what's going on here, so I had to play it a couple times to actually figure that out.
And I'm pretty sure the ultimate story of this, I didn't look into this too deep, but I think it's like your basic like bad guy kidnaps princess, go save her kind of thing. And it seems like I don't feel like I've ever seen anything about this princess unless you play through that second loop. I don't recall ever seeing her on just that first one.
Well, the second loop doesn't even show you anything. It just ends.
Yeah, but like I've seen like at least on the videos I've watched whenever they finish the second loop, like they get the princess and then it just goes to like the game over screen pretty much. Like no actual story, just like
I got the princess whenever I beat it with Miko, whatever her name is. It, the one guy like tells you, "Well done, you saved the princess" or something like that, and then it just shows them sitting there, and then I forget what it says, but he's like, You can have any wish," and your character's like, "I want the princess," like joking, and then she comes with you, and that's like the end. I was like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah. Maybe it just depends on the path again.
Yeah, I guess depends which character you use and which path you take at the end. So some of the bosses were pretty cool looking. Like I like the one that was like the giant, like huge mecha samurai looking thing. That boss looked pretty sick. But I mean, again,
Oh yeah.
there's not a lot of different gameplay. You're just kind of learning the pattern and dodging around. But I did like the way some of the bosses looked, and like the final boss, like that huge dragon looking thing. Did you get that one? If any of the paths you guys took?
I know, I never did that one. I always had the giant floating skull.
Yeah, that dragon thing was crazy looking.
Yeah, that thing was sick. I was probably like the coolest enemy looking in the game. It was like the full size of the screen. It's just like kind of flashing and just launching a bunch of stuff out of its mouth. But just like the detail on that dragon was awesome.
The pixel art in this game is ridiculous. Like even like all the enemies, even like the foreground and the background stuff, like everything's so detailed and awesome looking.
The only other notes I really have here were just talking about how like I use the bombs. So whenever you use bombs, you kind of have that iframe for a bit, and it will take out a lot of the projectiles on the screen. So for me, the bombs were more of like a defensive maneuver. I mean, I would sometimes use them on the big, beefy, strong enemies that I wanted to get rid of, but 9 times out of 10, if I was using a bomb, it was because I saw that I was about to get hit and I had no way out of it, because then that would clear everything out and I would be safe. I don't know if you guys use them the same way or what.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I try to save them for the bosses and just try to, like, I realized early, like, I had a stockpile of bombs, and then when I died, like, you died, like, your power-ups sometimes, like, fly out of you, you can just grab them again. There's, like, a few times I died, and, like, all my bombs didn't come back, so I thought I would, like, collect them all again, but they all just disappeared. So I pretty much spam them. If I got full bombs, I'd at least try to use them, just in case I got hit by a bullet and lost them all.
Yeah, you automatically go back to 2 bombs whenever you respawn, no matter what.
I don't know what the max is. I thought I had like 5 or something, 5 or 6.
6.
Is it 6? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had 6 and I was on the boss, I would just, no matter what was going on, I would just spam all of them because I was afraid to die and lose all of them.
Yeah, it's not worth losing them.
Yeah, I've definitely had moments where I tried to like save it for the last second I was about to get hit, but it's like you have to do it a little bit before that. If you're like about to get hit and you try to launch your bomb, you get hit and die, and then you lose your bombs. Like, especially if you have them stockpiled, it's so annoying. It's like, oh, dude, I could have probably survived a lot longer because I had like 4 bombs, and now I died. Now I'm back to 2, and it's like, man, you can't get too stingy with them. You just got to drop them bombs.
See, it would have been nicer if you could hold the button in like auto fire, because then you can just roll your thumb over real quick and hit a bomb. By the time I felt like I should use a bomb, I've been mashing the button so hard with my thumb. I'm like, my thumb's cramping up. I'm like, I gotta hit a bomb. I'm too slow.
Yeah, I think giving the auto fire for this dude would have like changed the game a good amount.
Yeah, it would have definitely made it a little easier. And I played this exclusively on my arcade, so I played it with an arcade stick and buttons. I didn't think I was too bad though, because instead of just using your thumb like you guys are on your controller, I'm just pointing your finger, mashing straight down, and then I can just tap my bomb with my other finger. So this one worked pretty well with arcade controls.
Also, I think I'm just realizing that for Tengai, when you beat the game and like the castle falls and blows everything up, it says Tengai goes on a rampage again. I think they're referring to his second loop. It's like when you start the second loop, like that's him going on his rampage.
It's way more fun to think that he just randomly changed his mind and started taking everybody out.
All right, you guys ready to move into the numbers then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sure.
Let's do it.
Alrighty, this one's another coin pump until you win. Everyone's pretty much guaranteed to beat it unless your game crashes or something we've had before. So let's see how many credits it took each of us to complete this game. Sky, you want to start off?
Took me 8 credits to get through it.
Okay,
On
you just did a
the-
one and done.
Just the first. I did play through the second. Just the first loop took me 8, and I had a rough time on the second loop. And
I bet,
that
sure.
bumped me up to like, I lost track. It was probably at least 30 credits by the end of the second loop. I just started getting thrashed on that.
Yeah, we're just sticking to the first loop.
I did read somewhere that on that second loop, the enemies will all shoot like a revenge bullet, essentially. So whenever you kill an enemy, it will shoot out a few more shots. So it's
Yeah.
kind of...
Yeah, there was way more-
It's even worse.
Way more going on the second time around.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan, what about you?
I did this one 4 times and managed to get it down a few credits each time. My final playthrough was 7 credits.
Nice.
Nice. Which character did you do your best run with?
Ayan.
Okay.
Or
that's
Ian.
right, it's
Again,
a
don't know how to say his name, but
Yeah.
once I had found out how to get him, I was definitely sticking with him. He was buff.
Yeah.
Even if you had to kind of put yourself in a dangerous spot for that charge attack, it was just too good to pass up.
Yeah, I agree. I played it with every single character. I beat it the whole way through with each of them, and like my best run I did with Tengai, and I tied. I got them both down to 5. So that was
Nice, man.
yeah, dude. When I did it with Tengai, like I was feeling pretty good. I did it. Because I was going through every character, and then the very last one I did was a secret character, Ian, whatever, and I was like not really even trying. I was like, this guy is melee. Or his charge attack is I don't know if it's any good. He's got to get close. It's kind of annoying to do. So I was just kind of messing around. I was like, I just want to see his ending, see what happens. And then I got to the end in 5 credits. Like, wow, I wish I would actually like tried on that one. I probably could have did way better because, like I said, his charge attack just rips through everything. I think he's the best character in the game easily.
I think it's pronounced Aaron.
Hey, Ron.
All right. You done messed up.
You done messed up, boy.
All right, Kyle, what about you?
I did a single playthrough with Katana and took me 13 credits.
It's better than my first one. My first was 15.
Yeah, that's right. My first was over 10. I didn't really pay attention to it, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, for as much spam that is in this game, that 13's, I would assume, is like a standard amount.
Oh yeah, this game definitely it takes you by surprise whenever you first hit one of those really busy levels.
Yeah, I know you're not going to go back and replay it, but I'd like to see how you do if you went back and tried the other character. Like one of the other characters, either the 2 that I use for my best runs, because I think the game just way easier with each of them.
Yeah, I'm sure using a different character, already knowing like all the patterns to the bosses and enemies, and knowing that there's a charged attack would make a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Give it a try, man. It's a short game.
Yeah, it is. It is very short. And now it's time to rate this one. We're just nothing too creative this time. We're just going to go with 12. That's total playthroughs, essentially. Each character, you have 2 different endings, depending on which entry you take. I mean, technically, if you beat the game in 2 players, there's a ton of different endings, but we're just going to stick with 12. So we're going to rate it out of 12 this time. I'm giving this one 7 out of 12. It's a pretty fun game. It wasn't my favorite game, but little bullet hellish, which sometimes gets a little annoying. It seems almost like not impossible to one credit it, but it feels like at the time just how crazy some of the bullets get. It seems like there's nothing you can do about it when you're fighting stuff coming from multiple angles, and it seems like some of the bots kind of home onto you a little bit, at least what it felt like to me. But I don't know, all the different characters are pretty cool, how you have different charged attacks, all the different endings, a little bit of story going on here. But I'm going with 7 out of 12.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that the other different characters and they all kind of played a little differently, had a little bit different of a move set. I still wish they would have allowed you to change characters in between each death. It would just be cool to kind of rapidly check out other guys and decide kind of who you like without having to completely restart and do playthroughs with each one of them. I mean, maybe it's controversial, but I kind of would prefer just a rapid fire button, just hold the thing down. Like, I don't know, I'm just not a big fan of spamming my thumb 1,000 times while I'm trying to play a game. It's just like, doesn't seem fun to me. I think being able to hold it down would have made it better. Like you said, though, it got a little chaotic sometimes, and it kind of felt like you were going to die for sure unless you used a bomb, which I don't like the feeling of. I don't like having to like feel like you're backed into a corner and you have to iframe bomb just to survive it. Like I feel like you should be able to use that. If you're good enough, you should be able to choose when you want to use that, and not because you feel like you kind of have to. But I mean, other than that, the bosses. I mean, that was my favorite part, honestly. Like the boss rush, I thought was the coolest thing because, like I said, like when you got to the bosses, it felt most of them felt a little more slowed down and like could kind of read their patterns. It kind of felt like you were actually engaged in a fight with an opponent as opposed to like all these random things flying around the screen that just like is kind of get one shot and disappear. I don't know. The endings, I guess, it's kind of cool. I guess that you had like an option to take 2 different paths with each guy, so you can kind of pick one way. If you really want to play it again, then you could try either a new character or you could play the same character with a different path. Not that it made a huge difference, but it was at least something at the end of it. So I think we'll slap a 7 on it.
I'm just a little bit lower here. I'm going to give it a 6. Just for the fact that the gameplay really is just a bullet hell with crazy button mashing. And like Kyle said, like there are certain times if you don't use a bomb, you're definitely going to die. So, and if you're out of bombs, then too bad. All the sprite work looks awesome. Like I like the look of the game a lot, and the music too. I like the Japanese themes going on. Sounds pretty awesome. Gets points for having all the different characters, and I didn't try them all, but that's cool that they all actually play a little bit differently, as different as they can, I guess. One other thing that bothered me was like you collect your power ups. They're little power ups, and the bombs are like little scrolls that float around and you grab them. But if you die, they'll like come out of your body and fly around. You can pick them back up. But if there's a bunch of stuff going on, they don't actually go the whole way across the screen. They stop maybe a little bit past the middle and then bounce back the other way. So like if it's looking rough up there with a bunch of bullets, you can't just sit to the back of the screen and wait for it to come to you, because it'll stop in front of you and take off the other way. So a couple times, like at first I didn't know it did that, and I died thinking my power ups are gonna come right back to me. So you kind of have to chase them down as soon as you die. I still think it's cool with all the bosses, the boss rush, especially like boss phases. Like you blow one part of the boss up and it transforms and something else pops out with like different patterns. I kind of get bored of bosses that are just one boss, the same phase. Like if you kill that guy, it's over. I kind of like how there's different phases to keep it interesting. It's a pretty awesome game. It's just not for me because I'm not really into the whole bullet hell style of gaming.
All right, I got maybe a bit of a zesty take here, but this is one of those rare moments where I was actually kind of super into the chaos. I kind of thrived in the panic of this one a little bit, and typically that's not my style, but I was having a great time. I honestly think this is like a top 5 that we've done so far for me. I can't even like fully say why. I mean, I can give reasons. I love the characters. I love the goofy endings are all fun. I love the length of the game. I can always appreciate any game designer out there listening right now. Anyone who makes arcade games, make them around 15 to 20 minutes. That just feels like such a sweet spot to me. But I don't know, man. This one, it looked great visually. Like we said, the sprite work was incredible. I just watched the video of that dragon boss at the end, and it looked freaking incredible. I loved every second of it, even though I didn't fight it myself. But it looks great. It's funny at times. The characters are fun. I actually somehow, some way had a fun time just really focusing on avoiding bullets everywhere and shooting like hell and going crazy, even though that's typically not my thing. But I don't know, man. It was just a lot of fun to me. And this one's going to be really high up for my personal ranking. It seems like I'm going to be fighting a losing battle trying to get it ranked high. But as far as just a rating here for a number, I'm going 11 out of 12.
Wow, all right.
Dang. Going big.
Watch out,
That's
Turtles.
crazy.
I'm big, man. I had a good time. No, man, it's not past Turtles, but I had a good time with this one, man. I really had fun with this.
Nice.
I was fine just playing it over and over again a few times.
I mean, what's funny is like to us, this is like bullet hell. It kind of is, but like if you've seen like actual bullet hell games, it's so ridiculous that like this doesn't even compare to some of those out there. But to me, it's like the hardest thing ever. But there's probably, if anybody listening is like into that style and they're good at it, they're probably laughing at us.
That's all
They're probably saying, "Oh, there's not that many. It's so slow. Those guys suck." I'm just like, "Oh my god, this is chaos. I don't know what's going on."
All right, well, let's move into our overall ranking with all of the games we've played for the pod. This is our 38th game. Let's see where it slots in. Jordan's going to be pretty high on this. Sounds like the rest of us are probably middling.
It'd be a
but,
rough one for me.
Yeah, I don't know who wants to start this off, and we'll work from there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This is a weird one for me to place. Like I gave it a 6 out of 12, so I'm like, whatever. I'm right at the halfway point on it. Even though I didn't really like it, I still didn't think it was a bad game. It just wasn't really for me.
I'm obviously pretty high, so I think my opinion of where to put it doesn't matter a whole lot. I mean,
Yeah, I'll kick off at least what I have in my notes. Without even thinking any further, it's what I have written down. I usually do a range. I have 13 to 20, so that's where I'll start us off.
Yeah, that looks like a good starting point.
boo.
That's way too far down for you, Jordan.
It is for me, but I am outnumbered on this one. Best I can do is try to get it on the higher end.
Yeah, the list is a mixture of all four of us, so you got to put it above and below stuff you don't want. But right now, where would you slot it, Jordan?
Where would I slot it?
Personally, no. If we can't even weigh in, if you could just drop it wherever you want without moving anything else.
If I could just drop it wherever I want without moving anything else, it's between putting it right below Turtles or at number 1 so I can bump Alien Syndrome and stuff down.
Oh my! Wow, you would bump Turtles down for that.
I just don't like Alien Syndrome being number 1.
Just to
all.
spite
I've
me,
never liked
he would
that.
push his game out of top 5.
It's not to spite you, it's because I thought that game was awful to play.
Oh
And
no!
it's been number 1 for like 17 years.
He's got it out.
That's funny. I actually replayed that just randomly throughout the week here, and I just wanted to reaffirm it. And to me, it still holds down that top
Yes.
3 at least.
That's
Because
insane.
sometimes it's like recency. You play it, and at the moment you think it's great, but no, even after 38 games, I replayed it. I was like, all right, yeah, this is still a top 3 game to me. So
That's
I
crazy
think it
to me.
holds.
My
I think it's
man.
awful.
And you want to hear something even crazier, Jordan?
Awful.
Something even
Yeah,
crazier?
sure.
Another game I replayed is Black Tiger, and that game, that's a top 15
Awful.
for me. Dude, it was...
Really?
That game was actually not bad, yeah. After playing some of these games, you go back to that game, I don't think we felt it at the time, but that game moves quick. Like, you can actually... Some of these older games are kind of a little bit sluggish when you move around on platformers. Dude, that game has some nice controls. Go back and boot that up once, guy, and try it out. It's
Yeah,
actually,
I feel like
it's
I owed
actually
that
good.
game another playthrough after playing Ghosts and
Yeah.
Goblins.
for sure.
After that, it kind of made me want to replay Black Tiger and rethink where I put it.
Well,
Nah,
don't
it's
worry,
okay.
Jordan. Whenever we run a re-ranking episode, Black Tiger's not done yet, man. It'll be back.
No.
Back
it
with a
should-
vengeance.
No, you're right. It should go lower.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, this man is out of his mind.
Let's hear Kyle. Where do you like this one?
Somewhere 17 to 20-ish.
God.
17's not bad under Ghosts and Goblins, but Jordan wants it way up there, so he'd rather be on my end of the spectrum of 12 rather than 17. He wants it at 5 or 1, but it's somewhere in that range.
I mean, I think as high as I could go, if I want to look at it that way, I feel like it would have to go, like, number 11 is probably as high as I can go. I can't put it above Mazinger.
Yeah, definitely agree there. I thought Mazinger was a better shoot 'em up.
I bet you could put it above Joe and Mac Returns, so.
I could for sure.
What about Alligator Hunt? You like that better than this?
I did like Alligator
Maybe,
Hunt,
man.
man.
Alligator Hunt was just legit, dude.
It was fun.
Alligator Hunt
It was
was
funny.
cool.
That was music going. You had a little dialogue. That was a funny one.
Oh, that awful dialogue. I'd be fine putting it between Alligator Hunt and Joe and Mac, unless that's too high for everybody else.
Even though I didn't rate it that high, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
I'm alright with that. We can give Jordan a win here if you guys want. Not a complete
Yeah.
win, but better than
Not
20
a complete
or so.
win, but
I'll take
Yeah,
it.
because it looks a little bit better to me than like obviously Joe and Mac. I'm not really about that game at all. Shadow Force was all right. I don't know. I didn't like it that much. It's kind of bored. But I could see this being around there though. I'm all right with that.
I don't really like putting above Cross Swords and Ghosts and Goblins, but that's some of the sacrifices we
Yeah.
gotta make here.
Yeah, I mean those crosswords are pretty cool. I really like Ghosts and Goblins, but I understand why it's where it is.
Right.
Just too damn hard to be fun for me.
I know. I happen to like it. There's other games here I thought was super hard and I didn't like them at all. That one I didn't. I actually hated it at first, but I started to like it. But I know why it's sitting at 16. So
All right, we just want to lock it in there. We're gonna push it any other direction.
I'll take it.
yeah,
Take
I'm
it.
okay with that.
Alrighty, we got Alligator Hunt at 12, Tengai at 13, Joe and Mac Returns at 14. Jordan, let's get some trivia rolling.
Jordan, let's get some trivia rolling, leading the way. Sky still has 67, Brad has 58, and Kyle has 53. as much as Kyle wants to stay in last place, I'm kind of rooting for him to keep creeping on up there and see if he can overtake Brad. But we'll see what happens. Question number 1 for Tengai. What's up, Sky? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I got faith in you, Raw Dog.
You too. All right, question number 1 for Tengai trivia. If you have reached the maximum bomb stock of 6, the player is instead awarded how many points for any additional bombs collected? A, 3,000. B, 5,000. C, 10,000.
Oh man, let's go Raw or go home and say 10,000.
All right.
I'll go with 3,000.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 3,000.
Correct answer is C, 10,000.
Jeez, it's a whole lot of
Sky
points.
getting another feather in that cap. It is a whole lot of points. Anyway, question number 2. So this game is actually a sequel to what other arcade game, which was the very first game ever published by Saikyo? This is the English name, not the Japanese original name. So A, Robot Samurai. B, Gunbird. C, Samurai Aces.
Oh man,
Let's say Samurai Aces.
I'm just going to say Robot Samurai because that's the character I played.
I'm gonna go Robot Samurai.
All right, the correct answer is Samurai Aces.
Nice.
Actually, I had no idea this game was a sequel until I was trying to find trivia for it.
Yeah, I thought I saw it somewhere. I read a couple different things. I just that one stuck out to me, so I just said it, but it wasn't positive. I knew it was a sequel to something.
Yep, so Samurai Aces was the very first game ever published by Saikyo. But let's do question number 3. So I kind of did a double take while looking up information for this game. I was digging around to see if these matched, but I don't think that's the case. So anyway, the question here, this is definitely more up my alley. I'm kind of doing this one for my own enjoyment, but I thought it'd be fun to share it anyway. The former game developer and CEO for Saikyo actually shares the same name as what current WWE superstar? The A, Shinsuke Nakamura. B, Akira Tozawa. Or C, Meiko Satomura.
Man, we'll just say A, whatever that one was.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
I'm just gonna go with B to mix it up.
Okay, that's Akira Tozawa and Kyle.
I'm gonna go with B to unmix it up.
I'm gonna mix it up. Correct answer is going to be the current WWE US Champion, Shinsuke Nakamura. Brad got that one correct.
Hey, I
Nicely
wasn't sure I
done.
got it right.
So that gives Brad 2 correct. He's going up to 60. Sky, you're going to get 1, go to 68. Kyle, so much for hoping because you got none correct.
Perfect.
So,
got a
you get what
perfect
you
score,
want, but not
dude.
what I want. That's all I got, boys. That's it for the Tengai trivia.
Alrighty, that wraps up Tengai. The next game we'll be playing is Gold Medalist. You can follow us on social media at Arcadiology, pretty much everywhere. We have a Discord if you want to hop in there, talk to us. We're getting a little more active in there. And I actually started a Threads account for the podcast recently. I've been posting a little bit more often on there. Seems to be a decent place to actually get some decent gaming connections. Some of the other stuff I've been trying to use, I don't know, seems kind of like the algorithm sucks and I don't really interact with anyone. But Threads actually seems pretty decent for gaming, at least for me. So follow us over there. I've been posting a little bit more stuff on that. If you want to send us any questions to be read on the show, you can send it to our email at arcadiologyquestions@gmail.com, or we have a Google form in the description. You can fill it out, sends it right to us, just like we got one here this week for us. So this one comes in from Sir Johnny John Johnson III.
That's a lot of Johns.
That's definitely a real name.
Too many Johns.
I did not know what
Far,
the name was.
far too many Johns.
That's great. I like it.
All right, and he says, recently found you guys and have been keeping up with the latest episodes. You hit some games I never hear anyone talk about, and it got me feeling nostalgic. I've also been watching Stranger Things, hitting the same era for me. I want to know if any of you have some modern games, movies, or shows that give you that retro feel. Nothing beats a blast of nostalgia. True that, Johnny. I agree with you on that one, but I got this question. I was thinking about it, and I got a good bit of stuff. I don't know if everyone else has many answers, but I got a good bit. I'll throw a couple out here, then kind of see what you guys say. But first one I want to recommend is Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. That's a game I played a while back. I talked about it on one of our earlier episodes, but it's very reminiscent of Jet Set Radio. It feels like you're playing a Dreamcast game, basically. If you're into that kind of stuff, that's definitely one I suggest checking out. I mean, it's modern, so it's controls and stuff all feel updated and good, but while I was playing that, I felt like I was playing a Dreamcast game. It has like the similar soundtrack, stuff like that. You're just roller skating or biking or skateboarding around, spray painting. Very mission-based stuff, and just like small stages and stuff. But yeah, that's one of my favorite games I've played recently, so I highly recommend that one. Pass to one of you guys. I can swing back around if we need some more, but Jordan, you got something for us?
It's maybe not the greatest answer in the world. I mean, you guys have kind of gathered from our opening segments whenever we talk about what else we're playing. I typically keep it to older games. I pretty rarely go out and buy brand new and play brand new games. So I mean, that's how I get my nostalgia, is just replaying all these old games. As far as something current modern that gives me a nostalgic feel, the closest thing I can kind of come up with is a game I haven't talked about in a while, and that's the Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, for obvious reasons. I mean, it's very much a modern game, but it's completely revamping a game from, I believe, like 1997 or something. So one of the games I grew up with the most. Like, I cannot tell you how many hours of my life I sunk into Final Fantasy VII growing up. I remember the first version of 7 I had was for the PC. Before even the PlayStation version, I had the PC version. And of course, back then, for all you younger listeners, you don't know this, but back then, everyone kind of just had like one computer in their house to share for everyone in the household. And you better believe the second I came home from school, that computer was mine for the rest of the night because I was playing Final Fantasy VII. And so I guess I can definitely say playing Remake and Rebirth, even though I haven't for a little while now, they definitely do kind of scratch that nostalgic itch a bit, just because you were reliving a new version of a game that you grew up with and loved so much. So that's probably about the best answer I can really give.
Good one.
Like Jordan said, I don't really buy any new games like ever. I just replay stuff I've had forever. I haven't played this game for a while, but if I had to pick a more modern game that gives you that kind of retro feel, it'd probably be The Messenger. That actually, Brad, you got me into that when you mentioned it a while ago. I haven't played it for a little bit, but I do remember playing that and getting just the fact that you can like switch between the dimensions from like the normal game, and then you switch to like, what is it, 16-bit or something like that, or 8-bit, 16-bit?
Yeah, I think you switch back and forth between those.
So that's pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of like the really old school like Nintendo games, and kind of Dead Cells just kind of gives you like a Symphony of the Night kind of feel, a Metroidvania style. It's not. I think Dead Cells is more about combat than platforming, but it kind of reminds me of just running around like Symphony of the Night, Dracula's Castle, and all that. So those are probably the two most like nostalgic games I've played recently.
Those are two really good games too. Definitely worth.
Yeah,
checking
dude,
out.
they're amazing. Definitely, both of those games are worth playing.
Kyle, you got anything?
Yeah, I was actually just looking through my Steam library to see if anything jumped out, and I think I mentioned this probably way earlier when we started podcasting, but I have a game called Diabolical Rogue, and I feel like I've told you guys about this before, but it gives me like Quake vibes. So yeah, because you just have like there's like 4, or I think there's like 3 different like robots that you pick from. Each one, like specializes in different things. They have different move sets or whatever. But then you go into the map, it's your team versus the other team. There's like weapon spawns and power-ups and like health and shield pickups and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like Quake, but it had a couple different twists to it, as far as like, this is the one where if your whole team dies and you're the last one alive, basically your team, everyone still has like their own like life respawn timer. So as long as the last person can continue to survive and like run around and evade the other enemies, then like you can eventually get your whole team back to life just by surviving long enough. So like the games can actually get kind of crazy if you're the last one alive. You're trying to clutch out like another 3 seconds before your next teammate respawns. But it plays a lot like Quake. It's just like an arena shooter kind of thing.
That's online only, or is it single player?
No, this is online.
Okay. Yeah, well, kind of in that same vibe. Well, I guess more Quake, I'd say more Doom, but another game I talked about a while back was Slayers X. Terminal Aftermath Vengeance of the Slayer. It's a very long-winded game there, but it's looks like Doom. Like all the characters are like, I don't know, like flat looking as they're just walking at you. It's that game knows what it's doing. It's trying to be like one of those boomer shooter looking things, and it does it really well. I thought that game was a lot of fun. So if you're into that kind of stuff, that's definitely one to check out.
You know who else would like that Super Terminal Slayer X Slayer game?
Who's that?
My boy, Big Raw Dog Johnny, Mr. Big Johnson the Fourth Jr. I think that's a game right up his alley, man.
It might be,
Too
man.
many.
Check
Johns.
it out. Check it out, Big Raw Dog Johnny boy.
And I want to give another shout out to Tinykin. That was like it's kind of like plays like Pikmin. You're like running around getting like different little I forget exactly what they are, little characters to help you out. They have like different powers, but just the aesthetics of it. It's set in like the early 90s, so you got like 2 TVs and stuff. As you're like sliding around, you can look around at the whole room, like different bedrooms and stuff, and the way just the visuals definitely puts you in that time frame. So that was another really fun one I played. Well, that was that's all. Anything else you guys want to throw out there?
No, I think that about wraps it up.
Seem good.
Sounds good to me then. Let's close it out. Let's get out of here for the night then, boys.
All right, boys. See you next time.
See you later.
Later, dudes.